guys, President Ninja, Team Scion here. Gonna go through the fish rant here, just a little brief overview of fish OTK and some of the perks and parts I don't really like about it. Basically, it's a lot of the card choices that I've been seeing the pro decks that's been using. The very first thing that I really wanted to cover was the tuners. The fact that they only use these three, just the three Fishborg Luster, it's not very, well, I guess I can't say it's not very effective, because it works with the frogs, because it can come back on any other frog, but the problem is that he's only level 1 instead of 2, so it's really hard to sync with him and other monsters. So generally, if you don't have Fishborg Luster, you don't have Oystermeister, you don't have plays, unless you're going for Formula Synchron, which is kind of a bad bet in some parts. The next really big part is most of the pro decks don't actually have a backup plan, so I guess they're kind of like Gorz heavy. If they don't have enough plays to make game, they kind of stick around and do nothing and don't poke, they just stall. It doesn't work. Well, at least I haven't seen it work. Like, most of the decks I've seen right now are using a lot of Frognarks, so they have somewhat of a backup plan. I know for a fact that this deck that I've been testing for a bit, they have no attack power whatsoever. It stalls way too much for me, and I'm not exactly a very patient, pokey person, so it's really bad. The next thing is that it's tribute heavy. Like, the big fish is nice at 7, like that kind of keeps it away from rescue cat replicas, I guess, but the fact is that, like, you're waiting on econing or bringing back so many frogs or fish or whatever that you can just tribute summon it. It's okay, I guess, because of the acceleration of the deck, but when there's a card so simple like this, just big wave, small wave, and boom, boom, done. You have your big fish out. You didn't lose anything. You can keep your Fishborg Blaster or whatever. It's too good of a card to let up. Of course, that does not protect you against Solemns and stuff like that, but it will protect you against things like little cards. But big wave, small wave, it helps out. It might take out like a little bit of the magic trap cards, but I find it infinitely better than tribute for summoning for it. Okay. Next big part is Monarchs. Monarchs have always been good, actually, but the fact is that this deck kind of relies a little bit too much on Monarchs, and it can get very tribute heavy really fast. So maybe it's not like Mobius itself, but I've seen like a lot of people use Caius, Ryza, and I think that's it, Caius and Ryza. Some people will use Mobius instead of Mystical Space Typhoons, but they're Solemn heavy. Everybody's using Solemns, you can negate plays, so Monarchs might not be the best idea for the deck, although they do work really well, and I like that kind of build to it, especially with Dark Dust Spirit has splashed in with them. It's amazing. Next big thing is the Frog Engine. Now, I do like frogs. Frogs are really nice. If you haven't seen my frog build, it really works really well, but this is too costly to the deck. It takes up 8 cards in the deck, so you're losing 8 monsters for basically these guys. And I'm not saying that they can't like protect you, because I know Road for a fact Roaring Totem is amazing, Dupe Frog's amazing, Treeborn Frog's a stall, but if you end up getting Swap Frog on the field, then he's pretty much your only attacker. So plays with these can get a little tricky, they can mess up your field, it just jams out too much. I don't like it too well, but I do like the acceleration behind it. Another big thing that I've noticed, a lot of people aren't using Pot of Duality anymore, which I like, but more of greed. A little sketchy on it. Pot of the Duality will not let you special summon the turn you use it. So if you use it to bring out Coelacanth, and then Coelacanth can't special summon anything, you can't synchro summon anything, you have to wait next turn for a game where they could summon Armor Master, they could Chaos Sorcerer, God knows what. So that's where I prefer more Greed over Pot of Duality, because you lose 2 to gain 3. You can siphon through your deck really well. You can lose the Treeborns out of your hand. You can lose the Genix controllers, Swap Frogs, whatever you need out of your hand and back into the deck. Usually I use this with tuners and monsters I was planning on using for synchro summons in the future. So more of Greed, definitely better than Pot of Duality. The Econ Trick, it's probably the only real big perk I love of the deck, just because like you gain everything and lose nothing.
You take a few econs out of your hand, you take your opponent's entire monster row, use your monsters to tribute for, which something that my deck will do, but not commonly. Because Treeborn Frog is nice. I like him because of the stall, I like him because he brings up formula, which helps me cypher through my extra deck. Brings it down, I can draw cards. So Econ, Treeborn Frog, awesome. Fishbark Blaster, Econ, same thing, but you have to discard cards from your hand. And Econ is also a backup for stopping battle plays, so it gets around a lot of the Royal Decrees, which I've seen being used a lot in gameplay. And that's pretty much it. Fish deck, there's a lot of complex parts to it, but like I said, I think mine is really the best out of all the ones I've seen. Even though it might not be as fast, it's more aggressive, it's more lenient, because like I said, frogs are nice, but they kind of lack everything. So, thanks guys, comment, rate, subscribe, and watch out for Fish Wars. Duels are coming up next.